Good night, stranger. My name is Titania, and tonight I will take care of you by telling you a bedtime story to help you fall asleep. I invite you into my safe space to get comfortable and cozy. Tonight's story is a request from a viewer, and you probably know it as Aladdin. This tale has a very interesting origin story because it was not originally included in the collection of 1001 Nights, but instead included by Antoine Galland in his French translation in 1712, and he had heard it from a young Syrian storyteller called Hanna Diyab, who is considered to be the author, because there seem to be no sources that can prove the story's existence prior to this point. So it's a very interesting story. I recommend looking into it if that kind of thing interests you. In the initial tale, Aladdin is not a really great guy. He's lazy, his father dies because he is so disappointed in him, and he's a peeping Tom of sorts. The initial story also includes slavery and some anti-Semitic stereotypes, so just keep that in mind if you want to look into it. A lot of times these fairy tales are very long in their first recorded version, and when they are later published in other fairy tale collections, an abridged version is released. So the story I'm telling you tonight is based on one of the shorter versions. Another fairy tale that I've already done, for example, is Beauty and the Beast, which has a crazy long version. If you are interested in ever hearing one of the longer stories, let me know in the comments if you want me to record fairy tales in several episodes, and then I could release them later in one long merged video as well. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any other podcast episodes. And if you still have the device you are listening on in your hands, make sure to set a sleep timer if you need one, or turn off autoplay if you are on YouTube. Set an intention for the night and let me know what it is. For example, you could write, "I will fall asleep peacefully to claim a restful night for yourself." Without further ado, let us begin. Now, you may find a comfortable position to lie down and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I want you to think of 3 things you are grateful for today. Maybe the sun was shining. Maybe you saw something beautiful. Maybe you shared a moment with a loved one. Allow yourself to be grateful for the small things. Concentrate on your breath again. Every time you inhale and exhale, feel the air flow under your nose. If there are thoughts coming up, look at them like you would look at a cloud in the sky and watch them pass by. With every exhale, your body relaxes deeper. Your feet become heavy. Your legs become heavy. Your shoulders become heavy. Your arms become heavy. Your hands become heavy. And your head becomes heavy. I am now going to count down from 5, and when I reach 1, you will be completely present in tonight's story. 5. You are totally safe and relaxed where you are in this moment in time. 4. A warm and cozy light spreads from your heart throughout your body, its golden glow filling you with a feeling of love and solace. 3. You let go of everything that is still binding you to today. 2. My voice is leading you through the light and beyond. Everything around you turns dark. 1. You are in a warm, confined space, and you can see nothing but darkness. There's a buzzing under your skin, like a great power trying to escape. But you can't really move, much less stretch out your body. You can hear voices coming from outside though. The deep tone of a man is the one you recognize immediately. It is the magician from Hanna Diyab who trapped you in this thing. "Boy," he says, "was your father a tailor by the name of Mustafa?" "Yes, sir," you hear a younger and lighter voice answer, "but he has passed away a long time ago." The magician replies in an affectionate voice, "I'm your uncle, your father's brother. I recognized you instantly. You're so much like him." Even though he sounds emotional, you know better. The magician knows very well how to wrap anyone around his finger, and you assume that he wants to use the young man for his own purposes. You hear coins clinking as the magician says, "Bring this to your mother. Tell her that I will pay her a visit tonight for supper. Now show me the house you live in." There's movement, and then the young man excuses himself, most likely going to find his mother. You hear the magician visit some vendors, where he buys wine and fruits. In the evening, he knocks on a door, and when it opens, you hear the younger man's voice greeting him again. A third voice joins them. It must be the young man's mother, who profusely thanks the magician for the food he brought. He, in return, cries over his supposed brother, assuring the woman how much he loved him and how sad he is that he passed away. Suddenly, the woman starts crying, recounting between sobs, "I miss my husband very much, and since Aladdin has never learned a proper trade, we have been living in poverty for the past years." "Sister," the magician says in a velvety, cajoling tone, "Sister, I have not been back here to my home country in 40 years, and I regret deeply that I could not see my brother one last time before he died. Helping you is the last thing I can do. Let me take Aladdin under my wing, so I can teach him how to be a merchant." Among the clinking of cutlery and aromatic smells reaching you, seeping through the cracks of your confinement and making your mouth water, Aladdin and his mother agree to the magician's proposal. The next day, or what you assume must be the next day, because the passage of time, days, blurs together where you are in this prison of the magician's making, you hear the clamor of the market again. with vendors advertising their goods, fabrics and jewelry, carpets and crockery. You hear the magician leading Aladdin to a garment shop, where he has the younger man dressed handsomely and pays for the clothes himself: a long linen shirt, a vest, a kaftan, a sash, some leather shoes, and even some purses. To hold your goods once you become a merchant, the magician says. Then the magician leads Aladdin through the entire city, it seems, to make him acquainted with all the merchants he knows, shows him grand mosques, the Sultan's palace, the Khan he stays at, an inn where other travelers are renting rooms, place their animals in the stables, and eat and drink together while making business deals. An idea of the surroundings forms in your mind, but you can only imagine the slender white minarets of the mosque, the golden walls of the palace, and the hustle and bustle of the Khan, where the men in their colorful robes are now laughing and exclaiming their well wishes before sharing their food. And you wish you could see everything for yourself. You drift off to the sounds of people talking and enjoying themselves, like a child getting tired at their parents' evening party. When you wake, it is once again due to the magician's dark voice, talking to Aladdin's mother. I will take him to spend the day in the country. Seeing the world beyond the city will help him to grasp the scope of possibilities present in his life, and I hope to ignite his ambition. Aladdin likes to talk a lot, and he expresses his amazement at leaving the city gates behind and passing by different palaces with beautiful public gardens equipped with neatly arranged watercourses. Every time a new building comes into view, he says, "Here's a finer house, uncle, than any we have yet seen." This way, the two men continue their walk through the country for hours, taking breaks here and there, and you are being rocked gently by their movements. "Here's our destination," the magician says at some point, and you hear Aladdin gasp. "I have never seen such a constellation of mountains," he tells the magician. "Two lonely peaks with only a valley separating them. They look mythical at dusk." "And they are," the magician replies. You can hear the smile in his voice. "Now, boy, fetch me some dry sticks. We will need them for our endeavor, and once we are done, I will reward you generously and buy you a shop once we return." Soon you hear the crackling of a fire and a whooshing sound like something is being tossed in, and by the fresh woody smell reaching you, you can imagine that it must be sandalwood incense the magician is using to work his magic. Then he chants a few words in a long-forgotten language, but you understand. "Earth, open up!" A sound like the ground breaking apart, and the shaking of the earth have you jolt, and Aladdin screams. "Don't run away," the magician yells, and suddenly he sounds much more intimidating than his usual smooth tone. "Do not be afraid. I only ask of you to obey me, and you will reap the advantages. Under this stone there's a hidden treasure, destined to be yours, which will make you richer than the greatest monarch in the world." "What do I need to do?" Aladdin asks. "I'm not going to ask you to do much," the magician says. "Just go down that manhole. I'm much too big to squeeze through myself, It will lead you into a palace divided into 3 great halls. In each of these, you will see 4 large brass cisterns placed on each side, full of gold and silver. But take care and do not meddle with them. Before you enter the first hall, be sure to tuck up your rope, wrap it around you, and then pass through the second into the third, without stopping. Do not touch the walls so much as with your clothes, for if you do, you will die instantly. At the end of the third hall, you will find a door which opens into a garden, planted with fine trees, loaded with fruit. Walk directly across the garden to a terrace, where you will see a niche before you, and that niche holds a lighted lamp. Take the lamp and put it out. When you have thrown away the wick and poured out the liquor, put it in your waistband and bring it to me. Aladdin's steps move away, and for a long time it is silent. There's movement, and the magician implores, "Give me the lamp." He sounds impatient now. Aladdin must have heard it too, because when he replies, "Let me out first," a tinge of uncertainty resonates in his voice. As the 2 men fight about what to do first, the sizzling magic of the African sorcerer lingering in the air awakes something in you, the urge to move, to escape. You try to stretch, to reach for the walls surrounding you, and you push, oscillating them. Then you feel yourself fall, while the wizard yells, "Earth, close!" A booming sound, and then silence. "Let me out! Let me out!" Aladdin cries over and over again, but nothing happens. Suddenly, you are tossed from side to side, and Aladdin says, "Oh, what is this?" Your prison is moved around further, and then Aladdin begins to pray. His hands must have rubbed the ring you are incarcerated in while doing so, and abruptly a wave of power surges through you as you break free, your whole body straightening up, its innate fiery light illuminating the walls of the cave and making Aladdin's shadow dance. You lay your eyes upon a youthful man in a red felt cap, a cream linen shirt, dark blue, wide trousers, burgundy kaftan, a wide striped sash in which are tucked 2 purses full of gleaming precious stones that he must have collected down here in the secret halls, and red leather slippers. He sports a mustache and a short beard, with brown skin and eyes, his black hair still full due to his age. His eyes are wide with fear, and he is staring at you incredulously. So you take the chance to introduce yourself. "I am the ghost of that ring, and serve whoever possesses it. I am ready to obey you, so tell me what you wish." "I want to go home," Aladdin stammers without hesitation. And you bring him to his mother's house. That very moment. "Aladdin!" his mother exclaims as soon as she sees him, and then screams once she lays eyes upon you. In order to calm her down, Aladdin proceeds to explain everything that has happened to him since he left with his supposed uncle. "It is quite scary to have a genie in my house," his mother mutters. "Please don't banish me into the ring right away," you plead. "I have waited for a long time to move freely like this. And since I am bound to protect whoever possesses the ring, I cannot leave your side." "I am hungry after this ordeal," Aladdin says. "Do we have something to eat, mother?" "Unfortunately not," she replies. "Maybe you could go and sell some of the cotton which I have spun at the market and bring back some food." "Keep your cotton for now," Aladdin says, and turns to you. "Can you bring us some food?" "I am unfortunately a minor spirit, and I cannot make things appear out of nowhere. Such a wish is wasted on me," you say apologetically. "Then I shall go and sell this old lamp that the magician made me get from the cave." Aladdin pulls on a golden lamp hanging from his waistband. "It looks dirty though," his mother says. "Let me clean it." Your eyes grow bigger as you recognize the lamp, but before you can say anything, Aladdin's mother is already polishing the dulled metal with a cloth. Suddenly, a bright light fills the room, and a second genie appears, shooting right out of the lamp, and Aladdin's mother screams again. "I am the ghost of that lamp, and serve whoever holds it in their hands. I am ready to obey you, so tell me what you wish," the genie says. You can tell right away that he's much more powerful than you are. Bigger in appearance, filling up almost the whole room, body shining like a beacon of smokeless fire. "Please bring us a lovely meal," Aladdin's mother says weakly, looking pale. Right away, a lavish meal composed of different dishes that can last the two humans for several days appears on the table. From that day on, the genie of the lamp grants them everything they wish. You are content because Aladdin doesn't force you into the ring. You can retreat there yourself to rest, and otherwise spend your days in a human form, accompanying Aladdin to the market. One day, as you are walking through a cramped street with colorful stands lining the shops on each side, you hear a commotion and see guards blocking the main street you're walking toward. Servants in blue wool kaftans carry a wooden sedan chair with intricate gold ornaments and silk curtains hiding whoever is inside. But right when you and Aladdin come to a halt behind a guard and move from side to side, trying to catch a glimpse without his turban in the way, one of the porters stumbles and the green curtain slips out of place. In the wooden box of the sedan chair sits a beautiful woman with large, dark, sparkling eyes, a lovely smile, and silky black hair. As you turn to Aladdin, you find him staring after the procession. "That was the Sultan's daughter," Aladdin whispers. "Badr al-Budur, full moon of full moons." His face suddenly changes to steadfast determination as he utters, "I want to marry her." With that, he hurries off toward his home, and you have to quicken your step to keep up with him. "Mother," he calls once he reaches the house. "I want to marry the princess." His mother looks back and forth between him, you, and the magic lamp sitting on a table cabinet by the wall. "Give me the jewels you brought from the cave," she says slowly. "I will take them to the Sultan and ask him for his daughter's hand." She then carefully arranges the bright shiny jewels in a casket that she wraps in a luxurious fabric and leaves to be received by the Sultan. Aladdin nervously sits on the divan for the rest of the day, looking to the door expectantly every time a noise sounds from outside. In the evening, when his mother finally returns, Aladdin jumps up from his spot and hurries to meet her. "The news I bring are not bad ones," she declares, and you see Aladdin's eyes light up. "The Sultan was pleased by the jewels we gifted him, but because he did not know your name, he wants you to prove your wealth to him." This seemed to be the idea of the Grand Vizier, who wants his own son to be married to the princess. Aladdin frowns, his face twisting with jealousy. His mother continues, "He wants you to send at least 40 of your servants, carrying boxes with these precious stones. Moreover, 40 of your own soldiers should escort your treasure." Eagerly, Aladdin picks up the lamp and rubs it with his own clothes until the powerful genie appears. "What is your wish?" he demands with fiery eyes. "You have served me well until now," Aladdin says, "but now I must bestow on you a more difficult task." He then proceeds to relay the Sultan's request to the genie, and a train of 40 servants and 40 soldiers, all clad in magnificent fabrics adorned with shimmering gemstones, appears on the street in front of the house. And each servant carries a box full of pearls, diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. In the early hours of the next morning, Aladdin's mother leaves to present this magnificent procession to the Sultan. When she returns in the evening, she bears great news. The Sultan was so impressed by the procession of riches that he agreed to the marriage, she declares, and Aladdin jumps in the air excitedly. "Now dress me in the most splendid robe a monarch has ever worn," Aladdin tells the genie of the lamp, and in a moment he is clad in an enormous wrapped turban from fine muslin, adorned with jewels, trousers and pants from light silk, a velvet kaftan in emerald green embroidered with gold thread, and a jeweled belt. Next, he wishes for a richly equipped horse, and more servants to escort him and his mother to the Sultan's palace. You climb onto your own horse and ride behind Aladdin as his first advisor, and you find the streets lined with spectators who are drawn in by the radiance of the parade. The welcome party at the Sultan's palace lasts the whole night. You can tell the Sultan is impressed with Aladdin's appearance, as well as his manners and demeanor, and by the end of the night, he sends to draft a marriage contract between Aladdin and the princess Badr. "Where, though, will you live with the princess?" the Grand Vizier asks, and you assume that he must still harbor a grudge against Aladdin, who will now marry the princess instead of his son. "Your Majesty," Aladdin says, turning to the Sultan, "I beg you to permit me to build a palace worthy to receive the princess, your daughter. I will have it set up near your palace and completed with the utmost urgency." The Sultan, stroking his long beard, looks satisfied with this answer. At home, Aladdin pulls out the lamp and tells the genie, "Build me a palace, fit to receive the princess Badr. Make it out of porphyry, jasper, agate, lapis lazuli, and the finest marble. The walls shall be of gold and silver, and the lattices of the windows enriched with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds, so that they shall exceed everything of the kind ever seen in the world. Let there be an inner and outer court in front of the palace, and a spacious garden. Let there be kitchens and storehouses, stables full of the finest horses, officers and attendants. Go and execute my wishes." The next morning, the genie reappears and whisks you and Aladdin away to the new palace. It is exactly as Aladdin has described it, and even you are in awe at the grandeur of the architecture, every corner glittering with precious stones. The wedding takes place with great celebration, starting at the Sultan's palace and moving to Aladdin's, led by bands of music and accompanied by state ushers and pages. On the princess's arrival, Aladdin leads her into a great hall filled with infinite wax candles, where a feast is set up. The dishes on the table are golden, and the light of the hall reflects in the princess's dark eyes. She looks dazzled by the setup around her. I thought that nothing in the world would be so beautiful as the Sultan's palace, but the sight of this hall alone is sufficient to show I was mistaken, she says in a soft voice. When the party finally ends, you retire to the apartment Aladdin has picked out for you in the palace and fall asleep. One day, when Aladdin goes on a hunting trip, you decide to stay in your ring and rest for a while. But as soon as the hunt is over and the hunting party makes their way back home, you suddenly hear screaming and loud noises. "The palace has disappeared!" different voices yell. There are quick footsteps coming and going in all directions, and then you hear the voice of the Sultan crying, "What is the meaning of this? Your palace has vanished, and my daughter with it." Aladdin says, "I need some time alone." As the noise settles and Aladdin moves somewhere quiet, you suddenly feel the walls of the ring disappear, and you are called to appear in front of him. "Can you take me to wherever the palace is now?" Aladdin asks. "We need to rescue Badur." In a flash, you stand on a great grassy plain, with the familiar palace rising against the grey sky. There's a village in the far distance. "Where in the world are we?" Aladdin says, and someone inside must have heard his voice, because one of the windows above you opens, and the princess's face appears. "My husband," she calls. "Wait right there. I will open the private door for you. But you must be quiet so the magician does not catch you." Before he turns to the door, Aladdin instructs you, "Genie, go to that village and find a merchant who sells powders." He tells you exactly what he needs, and you transport yourself right in front of a vendor who jumps at how quickly you have appeared, even in your human form. You ask the druggist for the powder and flash him some gold coins, so he hurries up picking it out for you. As soon as you have the vial in your hand, you return to the palace and the princess's quarters, where Aladdin and Badur are already waiting for you. "Tell me," Aladdin says, grabbing his wife by the shoulders, "what has come of the golden oil lamp that stood upon the shelf in my robing chamber?" "I'm very sorry, since all of this has been my mistake. An old man appeared in the courtyard of the palace, wanting to switch old lamps with new ones. I was foolish enough to exchange your lamp in order to do him a favor. And before I knew it, I found myself in this foreign land, which I am told is Mahudab." "And where is the lamp now?" Aladdin asks. "The magician carries it with him everywhere," she replies. "In his robes right over his breast. Listen, it might be uncomfortable for you, but you must invite the magician into your chambers tonight. Have your servants prepare drinks for him and put this powder in his cup." He motions for you to hand over the vial to the princess, and you comply. At night, you wait by the private door again, voices from the princess's apartment indicate that the magician has come to meet her. But suddenly, everything goes quiet. A moment later, one of Badribadu's servants opens the door for you and leads you up to her chambers. There lies the magician, on a sofa, unconscious. Aladdin walks straight up to him, reaching into his robe and pulling out the magic lamp. "We will go now, my wife, and arrange our return to your father's lands." Aladdin drags you into the great hall, where he calls the genie of the lamp. "I command you to get rid of the magician and take him somewhere where he can never be found again. After that, transport this palace instantly to the place from where it was brought here." With that, the palace jerks slightly as it is lifted into the air, and once again as it is dropped down at its original spot where it was built. It was a long day, and you decide to retire into your ring, where it is dark and comfortably warm. "Thank you for your help," Aladdin says, with a kind smile, and the princess too ensures her gratitude. The movement of Aladdin's hand when you are in the ring rock you to sleep slowly, your eyes closing, and you nod off. You become aware of my voice again. I will now count to 5, and once I reach the number 5, you will fall asleep. 1. You feel a comfortable and cozy warmth spread through your entire body. 2. Your muscles relax completely. 3. You feel safe and full of love. 4. Your mind is quiet and at ease. 5. You drift off into a sound and restful sleep. You are protected here in my witch's den.